Inside her expansive grand mansion, Jo and Mercer often found themselves gazing through its broad windows, watching the snow descend in silence as the harsh winter wind roared outside. A symbol of opulence in Manhattan's core, this mansion boasted an extravagant exterior matched by its luxurious interior design. While others might see it as their dream residence, to Joanne, it felt more like a cold, empty cell. The living room, with its plush furniture, magnificent chandeliers, and exquisite artworks, was yet so solitary, as Joanne was its only resident. Her wealth, vast and enviable, was built from shrewd investments in real estate and expanded through ventures in stocks and businesses, creating an empire of success. Society often viewed Joan as a quintessential success story, yet in her solitude, amidst all her riches, true happiness eluded her. At the heart of her loneliness lay one specific void: her daughter, Emily. 30 years before, at the tender age of 7, Emily vanished at an amusement park, and the memory of that day remained a relentless torment for Joanne. It was a rare day off that she had set aside to be with Emily, visiting the most renowned amusement park in New York. Emily's laughter and joy filled the park, radiating happiness as she indulged in rides and cotton candy. But in a fleeting moment of distraction, Emily disappeared without a trace. Despite immediate police involvement and Joanne's frantic search efforts, there were no witnesses, no CCTV records, and each attempt to locate Emily ended fruitlessly. As time dragged on, so did Joanne's despair. Initially, she spared no effort or resource, hiring detectives, seeking police cooperation, and appealing to the media. But with the passing years, quiet whispers reached her, suggesting it was time to let go. For years following Emily's disappearance, mention of her daughter's name would reduce Joanne to tears, returning only silence to her cries. Those around her encouraged her to move forward, but fully letting go remained impossible. Decades later, the vivid memories of Emily had grown distant, yet the wound never mended. After Emily was lost to her, Joanne isolated herself from others, immersing herself in her career. Her pursuit of success consumed her days, leaving her life feeling progressively hollow. Now, with her business prosperous and stable, she had achieved all wealth and recognition one could desire, but each day, Joanne felt an increasing void within her, as if a piece of her was missing. Recently, Emily had been appearing more often in her dreams. Every time, Emily would extend her hand toward Joanne, but Joanne would wake up before she could take it, leaving her engulfed in sadness and guilt. Her mind tormented her with thoughts of, "I should have protected Emily better. Why did I let myself be distracted, even for a moment?" She sighed heavily, the self-reproach ever present. That evening, Joanne considered cooking a meal but, drained of energy, she opted for instant noodles instead. She realized she was trapping herself in this monotonous cycle, yet found solace in the solitude it brought. Just then, her phone rang. "Joanne, you're going to make yourself ill if you keep staying home like this," her friend Lisa warned. "Come with me to this cozy little restaurant I know. It's inviting, with delicious food and friendly people." Joanne initially declined, but Lisa's gentle persistence won her over. A few hours later, Lisa arrived and they drove to a quiet alley, not far from Manhattan's bustling streets. The restaurant had a simple exterior, but the glow from its windows promised a welcoming atmosphere. Inside, Joanne was enveloped by the comforting scent of homemade dishes, with soft background music setting a tranquil mood. The walls were adorned with personal notes and photographs from past patrons, and each table boasted a simple, yet thoughtful floral arrangement. This environment was a stark contrast to the upscale establishments Joanne usually visited, yet it radiated an inexplicable warmth. "This is the spot I've been telling you about," Lisa beamed, guiding Joanne to their seat. Although it felt unfamiliar, Joanne followed Lisa, swayed by her friend's enthusiasm. A waiter soon approached, placing water and menus before them. After ordering, Joanne quietly observed her surroundings. The restaurant was lively yet comfortably filled, with guests chatting amicably, enhancing the inviting atmosphere. Her attention was drawn to a waitress working efficiently, engaging warmly with each customer. The name tag revealed her as Anna. She moved gracefully, serving meals and exchanging pleasantries with ease, her charm and attentiveness drawing Joanne's gaze. Intrigued, Joan watched Anna closely, sensing an unexpected familiarity. Her eyes drifted to a necklace around Anna's neck, and her heart froze. It was identical to the one she'd given Emily 3 decades ago, a delicate silver pendant, engraved with the name Emily. Stunned, Joanne's breath caught. Her mind raced with disbelief, but the undeniable sight left her speechless. Despite her attempts at denial, the necklace was undeniably the same custom piece she had designed for her missing daughter. Taking a sip of cold water to steady herself, Joanne's hands shook. How could this necklace be here when there was only supposed to be one in existence? Joanne kept glancing at Anna, deep in thought. Her heart was racing, yet she couldn't bring herself to approach the young woman. What if she was mistaken? What if it was mere coincidence? If she confronted Anna and was wrong, the last bit of hope she clung to would be shattered. Their meals arrived, but Joanne found it impossible to concentrate on eating. Lisa, oblivious to her friend's inner struggle, chatted about how delightful the food was, but Joanne barely registered her words, her thoughts solely on Anna and that necklace. Could it be that Emily was still alive? No, it couldn't be. Life just isn't that kind. She tried to reassure herself, but a fragile hope had started to form. Unable to hold back, she turned to Lisa and asked, "Lisa, do you know anything about that waitress Anna? What brought her here?" Lisa, caught off guard by the sudden inquiry, then smiled and said, "Oh, Anna? The owner recommended her. She's incredibly kind and hardworking. The customers adore her." Joanne listened intently, thoughts racing, needing more information but unprepared to face the truth. Even after finishing their meal, references lingered in her mind. "Lisa, wait a moment," she said, standing and slowly approaching Anna. Her heart thudded, her breath unsteady. She fixed her eyes on the necklace and carefully asked, "Excuse me, could you tell me where you got that necklace?" Anna, surprised, touched the pendant instinctively. "Oh, this?" she replied with a soft smile. "It's very dear to me. I've had it for as long as I can remember. My mother gave it to me." Joanne's heart stopped at hearing this. "Your mother?" she stammered, her voice trembling. Anna nodded. "Yes, but I don't really remember her. I was raised in an orphanage." Joanne felt like the ground was vanishing beneath her. An orphanage? Breathing became difficult as she clutched her chest. This couldn't just be a coincidence. In her mind, Anna's words resonated. An orphanage, the necklace, the engraving of the name Emily. Every piece of the puzzle seemed to be falling into place, yet she was frightened to believe it. Taking a deep breath to steady her shaking hands, she asked, "May I look at it more closely?" Joanne inquired, cautious yet eager. Anna hesitated, appearing slightly confused, but Joanne's sincere expression earned a nod. Anna raised the pendant slightly, so Joanne could see it clearly. Joanne's heart raced as she examined the delicate details and intricate engraving closely. The shimmer was subtle, yet the unmistakable name etched on the back made it identical to the one she had given Emily so many years ago. A flood of emotions surged within Joan. She clutched her chest, overwhelmed by a wave of hope, fear, and sorrow. Concern etched across Anna's face as she asked, "Ma'am, are you all right?" Joan wiped away the tears that threatened to fall and replied, her voice unsteady, "I just realized how truly special that necklace is." Anna offered a small, confused smile and commented, "Yes, it's the only thing I have from my past. I don't remember my mother, but I was told she gave this to me before I was left at the orphanage." Joan felt as if she couldn't breathe. Emily had been only 5 years old when she disappeared, and Anna had arrived at the orphanage at about the same age. It couldn't merely be a coincidence. Her heart raced as she struggled to contain her emotions and softly asked, "Do you know how old you were when you arrived at the orphanage?" Anna pondered for a moment before answering, "I don't recall much, but they said I was around 5. Joan's hands gripped the table tightly for support. 5 years old. That was the age Emily had vanished. Her pulse thundered in her ears as she forced out the next question. When is your birth date? Anna tilted her head at the unusual question, but responded, April 15th, 1989. The world spun for Joan. April 15th, Emily's birthday. She knew without a doubt now. The daughter she had been searching for tirelessly and mourning for 3 decades stood right before her. Tears pooled in Joan's eyes, but she held them back. She couldn't just reveal everything suddenly. What if Anna wasn't prepared to accept the truth, or worse, rejected her? Joan swallowed hard, trying to collect her thoughts. Confirmation beyond doubt was necessary. She took a deep breath and asked, Anna, would you be willing to take a DNA test with me? Anna's brows furrowed, confused. A DNA test? Yes, Joan said carefully, her voice tinged with emotion. I might know something about your past. Anna studied Joan intently, perceiving the urgency in her words. Part of her hesitated, though another part was curious. After a pause, she nodded. All right, I've always been curious about my past anyway. Joan exhaled a long breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Thank you, she said softly. A few days later, they sat anxiously in a sterile clinic awaiting the results. Joan's hands shook as she clutched a tissue in her lap. It was the longest wait of her life. If the results were negative, she couldn't imagine surviving the heartbreak. But if the doctor finally entered the room holding a sealed envelope, causing Joanne's mind to wander. With bated breath, she watched as the doctor opened the results and carefully examined them before meeting her eyes. With 99.99% certainty, you are mother and daughter, he declared. The room felt like it was spinning for Joan, her heart breaking into a mix of grief, relief, and 30 years of yearning. Trembling, she reached out to Anna, who sat still, her breathing shallow until tears welled up. Joan held her tightly, sobbing and apologizing. I'm so sorry. I searched for you everywhere and never gave up. Slowly, Anna's arms encircled her mother, allowing her own tears to fall freely. For the first time, she felt a sense of belonging she had never known before. The following days were intense, as Anna needed time to process the sudden reality of having a mother, especially one as affluent and powerful as Joanne. Joan gave her the space she needed, but ensured Anna that she was there to stay. One evening, while they sipped tea at Joanne's home, Joan gently asked her daughter, Anna, is there something you've always dreamed of doing? After a thoughtful pause, Anna replied, I've always wanted to open a cozy cafe where people can feel at home. Joanne smiled warmly. Then let's make it happen. Anna looked surprised. Mom, that's quite a step. Joanne took her daughter's hand and assured her, you deserve to pursue your dreams, sweetheart, and I want to help. Over the following months, they worked side by side to bring the cafe to life. Joanne provided financial backing while Anna devoted herself to designing the space. On the day of the grand opening, Anna gazed at the sign displaying the cafe's name, Emily's Place. Tears filled Joanne's eyes as she said, Anna, this is your dream brought to life. Anna turned and smiled at her mother. No, Mom, we made this happen together. The cafe quickly became a popular spot, not just for its inviting atmosphere and delicious food, but due to the inspiring story of Anna's journey reunited with her mother, whose unwavering love was admired by many. They spent their days sharing meals, laughter, and conversations, making up for lost time. One night, after closing the cafe, they stood under the vast night sky, watching the stars. Anna softly asked, Mom, do you think we'll really be happy now? Joanne pulled her into a comforting embrace, smiling. Of course, sweetheart. Happiness isn't about what we've lost, it's about what we build from here. As they stood together, mother and daughter under the night sky, they knew this was their new beginning, where the past no longer defined them and they could create their future together.